I want to do something a little bit different than I've been doing. We'll see how it goes. I may even make a whole nother, I don't know, maybe another channel for this. We'll just try it out here. But I wanted to share something with you that I've been writing in my journal. So I wanted to talk to you guys about how I used to be in regards to the idea of stability. And I say idea because everybody has their own idea of what stability looks like. And I definitely had an idea before. It's changed over the years. It's changed more than once, my idea of stability. And I wanted to just share that with you guys and what I have kind of went through in my own process. And maybe some of you can relate. Feel free to let me know in the comments. Let's get comfortable. I'm just gonna go ahead and settle in a little bit so we can read this. If you're seeking stability, you will not find solace in me. Stability bores me to the bones. Although throughout my human experience, I have sought after stability like a mosquito seeking blood. There have been moments in my walk where I've even felt behind others, behind my age group, because I didn't have a certain level of what I believe stability to be. Now I see things quite differently. I realize that even when I had a certain level of stability, I felt despondent. There was this feeling of, is this fucking it? To me, stability was what society paints it to be. You know, the normal society, the spouse, the children, the owned home, the yard, the company, the well-paying career, the credit score, and so on. And while that works for some people, I have come to realize that even when I had a certain level and portion of these things myself, I felt as if my life ended. But the truth is, I don't fit in. I've never been part of anything. I am the ladybug in the middle of a rose bush. I am the eggs placed in the toy aisle of a grocery store shelf. I am in the wrong spot, the wrong place. I'm an Android charger trying to plug into an apple. I am the butterfly hovering over the caterpillars. Growing up, I was in acting, and when I would audition for a role, I would have to read a monologue. And I found this to be quite insufferable. I would find that I would get the most satisfaction out of concocting my own personal monologues because I could believe in the character that I was trying to portray more. If I took an art class and we had to follow the teacher, kind of like sips and strokes, often my paintings and drawings would look nothing like the teacher's. It's as if I'd heard nothing. No instructions, and I went my own direction. To this day, I find it a task to even follow a recipe properly. I just throw things in the pot and kind of see how it turns out. As I said before I started this video, I haven't finished it. I don't really need to at this point. I mean, I guess I'll get to it when I want to, you know. But I felt like it's I don't know how anybody's going to take that, but something told me to share that with you guys. Maybe because some of you relate and you just don't know how to word it. You know? That doesn't mean you're sad. That doesn't mean you're depressed. It doesn't mean you feel like anything. I'm at a very good place with it. Now, there have been times that I'm like, why am I so behind? Why am I not like anyone else? Why am I not? If anything, I've tried to fit in. I've tried to be like others. I've tried to be like the rest of the normal society. And I'm telling you, I have achieved some of those things. Even some of the things that I once believed in so heavily, I thought it was just a part of when you come here, you do this, you know? And not all the things, but a lot of them. And then I look back and I'm like, God, I felt like awful. I really honestly don't know how to describe the way that it feels to like conform. To want to be like what everyone else says is acceptable. To have the same goals and dreams Some of them are okay, but I don't identify with all of them, and a great deal of them are entirely absurd to me. Like, why? Who made the rules first? Who made it stability? Who made this look like stability? So yeah, I thought it was probably going to be beneficial to share that with you guys, and let you know, I don't know, my thoughts, shit, like, just that's where I'm at. I will never ever fit in, except for I probably do fit in with others that are like me, because there's really no rules. There's no rules or no preconceived ideas or notions about this is how you have to be, and if you're not like this, then you are non-committal, or if you're not like this, you're unstable, if you're not like this, you must have an issue or a problem, or you know what I mean, something like this has to come from your childhood. And it's like, or I'm just different, even when you aren't trying to be, even when you want to blend in, which is crazy. Now looking back, you probably are like, why did I ever want to fit in? I like being whatever anyone thinks that I am. I like not being labeled, even though I get labeled, assumed on, assumed about, but they don't actually know. It just makes them feel better to draw some sort of conclusion and put a stamp on me, but they don't really know. I like that. It used to make me uncomfortable. And I do think some of it did probably come from my childhood, if we're being honest. I've talked about that before, actually, though, because of my, like being adopted and shit like that. Yeah, I certainly wanted to fit in. I wanted to be just like my adopted family. I just wanted to fit in. I wanted to be accepted, this and that, like. But looking back, when I was sitting with that writing in my journal, I'm like, no, the fuck I haven't. Who am I kidding? Who am I lying to? I have never, because in that I was remembering, when I would write my own monologues. In fact, when I went to the expo for acting and modeling and all that years ago, I think I was like 18, it was called the Michael Beatty Expo, and they had it in Dallas, Texas. And I actually ended up getting scouted by a manager and an agent out there, and the only reason is because I wrote my own fucking monologue, and it's because I had what do you call that, like, not stage fright. I don't actually have stage fright, because I started off doing plays. Growing up, plays is where I started, and then choir, which you have to be on a stage on like a platform. So I always liked music, I always liked acting and things like that. I liked being able to change my character. I liked it. In fact, there was a part of me, and I still feel like this to a degree, that wonders, I'm not sure about it, but I wonder, like, are any of the characters I've played something I actually was in a past life, and I'm just coming back in this life to play them again? I think that about actors and actresses too, who play in movies. I'm like, I wonder. Not all of them. It makes me wonder. I just wonder. It's interesting. So, but anyway, I didn't have stage fright, but I did have camera fright. And when I came up with my own monologue, it was the only way that I could slate and speak and do my monologue in front of the camera and audition without being nervous as fuck and wanting to shit and throw up on myself, because I was terrified, because the camera is like right in your fucking face, whereas when you're on stage, the audience is further out. But a camera can be almost like an invasion of privacy, because it's like all up in your grill, So I wrote a monologue, and I gave the camera a name. I even pretended that the camera was my boyfriend, and later to find out that I had realized that I had like a mental illness, and he really wasn't my boyfriend, he was a camera. But in the beginning I thought that he was, and it was the only way that I could make eye contact with the camera, and the directors were behind the camera watching this and I was like, it's the only way I can think to engage, because otherwise this is fucking ridiculous to me. I'm talking to a black fucking hole. You know what I mean? If I'm crazy, then we're all fucking crazy. Anybody who takes a picture or a video at all, you ain't got to post it online, then we're all a little fucking crazy, because we're just, I mean, before somebody's there receiving the message or whatever is on the video, you're just talking to yourself. Aren't we all? So I'm like, I mean, are you? So I was like, well, and yeah, I wrote that monologue. So anyway, that was like little things like that, you know, and when like all the kids growing up, like birthday parties, that was the worst. It was like awful. It was so awful to go to birthday parties. Although I had several times I would just have like one close friend, but then they would have lots of friends, and I was not one like that. Like I didn't want a lot of friends ever. It made me very uncomfortable. It made me nervous. Like, I don't know. I can function in crowds, but I don't like them particularly. But again, I like them further away from me. I don't like them up on me. I don't like that. But I mean, I can function. I just would prefer not to. But anyway, I was like that growing up too. This was another sign that I had when I'm like, I'm fucking weird, you know? And of course, that was one of the things I would get bullied for, being weird. They would call me bug eyes because I have large eyes. And I still have large eyes, but when I was young, my eyes hadn't grown into my head, and so I looked like a bug. But honestly, looking back, I was so cute, but they were just fucking hateful, you know what I mean? And anyway, so like these parties and shit, these little birthday parties when I was a kid, somebody I would be really close to, like my bestie at the time, would be like, hey, you know, we're having like these friends come over and things like that. And I'm talking like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I would feel so fucking out of place because everything they were into, I was somewhere else. Like I was into something else. I liked things that nobody else fucking liked. And every now and then you'd have another weird one like me. And I loved those people. Like, although it was really interesting because a lot of people viewed me as one way because I looked different. Like I kind of looked preppy because I had strict parents and they didn't want me to look a certain way. They used to care very much about that. Now they're just kind of like, be yourself. But when I was younger, absolutely not. And so I looked very preppy, although my personality fit more in with like the rebels. You know what I mean? Like I had friends that were doing mosh pits and wearing like parachute pants and things like that. And I remember, oh my God, I remember when I got into poetic dialect. I believe it's the name of the class. The class was called poetic dialect, and it was like, to this day, my favorite class I ever did. But guys, my fucking poems did, oh my God, I'm surprised they didn't call the authorities on me for the shit that I would write, because it was just, I don't know, I've always been a creator, and I don't mean a content creator. I've always been a creator, period. Always. I thrive there. If I'm not creating, I'm dying. I would love to like make movies, or I mean, there's so many things I want to do. Anything where I can create and come up with characters and stories and scenarios and outcomes and anything. Like I really like acting. I love that. I like being in front of the camera, preferably. I mean, I guess I'm more comfortable with it now, but I like also being behind it. I love the idea of editing, and I just like it. I like creating. I like even coming up with the idea. In fact, I used to write little plays. Like when we would have plays in school, I would write some plays. Nothing big, guys. These aren't like plays that were ever performed except for other than in school. When we would have groups, which I hated. I hated groups. You know, when they make you work in groups in school? Fucking hated that. One, because like you'd have some people that would slack off and they wouldn't give a shit, and you'd be the one that's like, especially when it was groups in acting. Because I took that shit seriously, and I was like, can I just do this shit by myself? Like, please. Now, when math class and things that I fucking hated, I wouldn't mind being in groups because I didn't want to do any of it, because I would have slowed the whole group down. I mean, the numbers don't register to me, really. Little small numbers, but when you start getting up into the fucking, you know what I'm talking about. I hate that shit. It bores the living fuck out of me. But, science, and even English, but mostly art class and writing and acting for sure. And I would be in there and I would write some fucked up poetry. Like, In fact, I still remember a lot of it on the top of my head. About 2 years ago, I took a video of myself burning all of it. And I had written some of that since I was 13. But it was just, reading back through it, I'm like, God, if I would have read that shit and been your teacher or something, I would have been like, do you need help, honey? My God. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess I'm glad they didn't, but I don't know. Am I? Some good shit, though. It's good writing, but it definitely doesn't seem like something a child would write. I can tell that I've been here before. There's no one who's only lived one life that would have that type of knowledge and information and insight. It was interesting. So yeah, I've never fit in. I'm not stable, and anyone who looks for stability in me, be it through work, you're not gonna find it, because I'm ever changing. And I could say I wish that I could change that, I wish I could, but I don't, though, because it's not me. And I've tried. I've fucking tried. If you've been with me a while on this channel, you've probably noticed I've tried to do the whole, like, you know, I'm just gonna pump them out. That's not me. It's not fucking me. I've changed so much, like I think the only reason I know I'm a human is because I see skin and bones, and I get sick like everyone else, and I have emotions like everyone else. But other than that, I'm like, I think I'm just like aware that it's just an outfit and I can change it whenever I want. I can change my mind. I'm like fucking Barbie. I love Barbie. I've always loved Barbie, and I love the idea of Barbie because Barbie is and can be everything. And people get to pick and choose which one of Barbie they like. You know what I mean? Why does Barbie get away with it but I can't? You know what I'm saying? I am fucking Barbie. So I don't know. Like, that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. I don't know what you think about it. I don't think this is so you can think a certain way about it. It's just to kind of share my thoughts with you and let you kind of know a little rundown on me. And yeah. As far as this point in my life, now I can always shift and change. I mean, it's happened a lot. But at this point, there's only a few things I'm certain of, and as far as like myself goes, and creativity is one of them. Like, I thrive there, and which sometimes that means I don't seem as if I'm thriving to the naked eye. To those that have an idea already set in place of what stability is, I may not seem like it, because I'm not that idea of stability. I'm a different type of what you call, I guess you couldn't call it stability because society wouldn't see it that way, but I know very much what my soul is, and I know very much what my soul loves to do, but at times it doesn't appear as stable or something reliable or sustainable, and it's because I need a lot of fucking time to think, to regroup, to experience life in between me creating so that I can create more. If I'm constantly just creating and creating and creating and creating, I'm not living. Therefore, I'm not experiencing new occurrences and new lessons, and I'm not witnessing new things, and so I can't create anymore. I'm eventually gonna hit a fucking roadblock, and that's what happens every time, because I'm just trying to be stable. I'm just trying to make that money. I'm just trying to grind. I'm trying to be like everyone else, and I'm fucking not. I am not like everyone else. And I mean, I've wanted to be. Seems like they have it figured out, you know? It seems like a cool place to be. I'm not saying it's not. If I could be it, would I want to? I don't think so. No. But I think it's cool for those who are, because it probably gives them a lot less stress. But to me, it is stress, because just as I said in the beginning, when I have experienced moments of stability, what society deems as stable, I'm fucking bored. Like, not only bored, I feel like I'm depressed. Like, I feel like dying. I feel like I want to die, leave this planet, because it feels like I'm not moving. Although when I step outside of that box, yeah, it feels slow. Feels like it takes forever. But it's only because at this point in life, I'm like, well, look at everybody else. I'm so far behind, but I'm not fucking behind. I'm me. This is just me. So be comforted. If you're anything like this, be comforted. You're not behind. You're not unstable, you know, and you don't have to be like everyone else. That works for them, you know. But this is why it's probably never worked for you when you dabbled in it, in the idea of stability. This is probably why it doesn't work, because you're a different type. It's like blood types, you know, you're just a different type. And you know what this kind of reminds me of? I'm getting a song right now coming through. It reminds me of this song. I don't know the name of it, but it's Pocahontas, and she says, "You can't step in the same river twice. The water's always changing, always flowing." There you go. That's my kind of stability. That's what stability is to me. Although I wish it was like others, or I did at one time. But again, when I have found myself in those moments of grasping that type of stability, I fucking hated it. I hated it. And I'm sure those that were involved in my life, whatever way they were at that time when I was so stable, they probably fucking hated it too, because I was miserable. And I made everyone else miserable because I fucking hated it. It wasn't my truth. It's never been my truth, and it will never be my truth. I want to look up those lyrics. Give me a second. Pocahontas, you can't step in the same river twice. Just around the river bend. That's it. All right, let's read a little bit. What I love most about rivers is, let's change the lyrics a little. What I love most about life is, you can't step in the same life twice. The water is always changing, always flowing. But people, I guess, can't live like that. We all must pay a price. To be safe, we lose our chance of ever knowing. Oh my fucking God, this is me. This is me. Like the whole ass journal entry I just read you, this is fucking me. This song right here, this is me. Thank you, Judy Kunn. Well, it's a song by Judy Kunn. Am I saying that right? What's around the river bend? Waiting just around the river bend. Like, I can't stay in one spot. I can't even really stay with one person, you know what I mean? Or I haven't been thus far, because that is not stability to me. And I don't mean cheat and do all that. It's not what I mean. I look once more just around the river bend, beyond the shore, where the gulls fly free. Don't know what for, what I dream the day might send, just around the river bend. It's like, I don't know what for. I don't know why. I don't know why. You know, you have people that want answers from you. It's like the very beginning of my entry where I said, if you're seeking stability, you will not find solace in me. That's this fucking song. You know, that's when people are like, well, why don't you want me back? Or why don't you want to stay with me? Or why didn't we work out? Or why didn't you give me a chance or a shot? Or why? And it's like, I can't give you those answers because I don't even know. I just know that my soul is calling me to do something fucking else. That is why I don't have your fucking answers. I am different. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You're perfect the way you are, but this is how I am. I don't want to change it. I used to want to change it. I tried. It nearly killed me. I feel there, in fact, when I tried to be like everyone else, when I tried to be like my parents, when I tried to be like my friends, when I tried to be like people I went to high school with, tried to live those lives, tried to whatever. I mean, I worked 3 jobs at one time. I became a severe alcoholic because I had to numb myself. Didn't have time for therapy. I was working all the time. I had something to prove. I'm not saying that's what other people do, but that's I did. And I proved nothing to myself, but that I had fucking utterly failed myself by being afraid to stand out, by being tired of being made fun of, and by trying to be normal and stable like everyone else. It's not for me. I feel it there beyond those trees, or right behind these waterfalls. Can I ignore that sound of distant drumming for a handsome, sturdy husband who builds handsome, sturdy walls and never dreams that something might be coming? See, if something is for me, I'm open to that, but it hasn't arrived yet. It hasn't shown up yet, and I will know when it does. And it can be anything. I'm open to anything. I have no idea. I have no type of life, no type of person, nothing. I just know that I like to create, and I like to be passionate about whatever it is I'm giving my attention to. Otherwise, I'm dead and lifeless. Should I choose the smoothest course, steady as the beating drum? Should I marry Cocoam? Is all my dreaming at an end? Or do you still wait for me, dream giver, just around the river bend? Like, I ain't giving up. You know, that's me. And maybe that's you. I hope you like this. Let me know. Do you think I should make another channel where I just, do whatever the fuck I do on here? Because we change it up a lot. And, or what do you guys think? I guess I should ask myself what I think, but I don't know at this point. Apparently, I think I should post it on here because that's what I'm going to do. So, I don't know. I'm gonna sleep on it. And decide. You hear the birds? It's like they're trying to tell me, but I can't understand them. Alright guys, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for listening. If you clicked on this video and you're like, you saw it didn't have a zodiac on the thumbnail and you're like, I'm just interested in what she has to say, thank you. Thank you.